So what I wanted to learn, so we had interns recently
Yes.
at our center. That was a fantastic experience. How was it for the both of you? Because you guys did all of the work.
It was really nice. We're learning with them in that sense, understanding where psychology students are right now, because maybe their degree looks very different to ours in the sense of how they're thinking these days or what they want to go into their career, etc. So it was interesting to come along in their journey and see where they're heading, and also allowing them to get an experience from us, gain that insight of what we do, because I feel like cognitive psychology as a branch isn't as popular as maybe like clinical psychology or forensic psychology. No one really looks at cognitive psychology on its own as often. So I feel like we helped, give them a good insight of cognitive psychology and as an option going forward as well.
Right. Yeah. And I think one of the main things that in our journey to teach the interns or train the interns or help the interns was how much knowledge we had to impart.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that knowledge imparting process also included us learning a lot of things. Right. So as a professional, I have never used the format of PCT.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And as a professional that is you have always used the format of PCT. Yeah. So would you like to enlighten us what PCT is?
So I have done PCT, but mostly it was integrative, PCT and CBT together. With PCT is more of person-centered therapy. So basically in a therapy session, the client is doing most of the work. For CBT, so the difference between CBT, because it's so widely used, CBT is the therapist telling the client, okay, you can do this, you can do that for that. PCT is more of, okay, where is that person coming from? What was their upbringing? To understand the client more in depth and their childhood and their patterns and everything. So I think because I've worked with trauma cases, PCT really helped a lot. CBT, however, was not beneficial for most of my clients. However,
and PCT is person-centered therapy and CBT is cognitive behavioral therapy.
Just in case.
Just in case.
Sorry, I thought I said it.
For the non-psych audience.
Yes,
there.
yes.
Cognitive behavioral therapy versus person-centered therapy.
There you go.
And for clients who used to come to me saying that they want to do CBT also, then I used to do an integrative kind of therapy, which included person-centered therapy and cognitive behavioral therapy.
Look at you go with full forms. Nice.
You're welcome. But yeah, that was about it.
And okay, so we have like this wide array of things that can go wrong with a person, right? We have anxiety, depression, trauma, that is so casually used in today's day and age as well.
Yeah.
So how, as a person facing mental health struggles, do I know where to go, to whom, for what?
Big question.
I think what my clients used to do, they used to read up on different kinds of therapies that are available and then see what they connect with. Sometimes they used to take a few sessions of CBT and a few sessions of person-centered therapy to see which one they resonate with more. Mm-hmm. You can do your research and maybe a psychiatrist, you can ask a psychiatrist, you can ask a psychologist.
Yeah.
But I think there are a lot of, like, for example, EMDR is so under-recognized, I feel.
Eye movement
Desensitization.
Yes,
And
again.
yeah, I did that.
Yeah, the one where we cannot remember the R.
Yeah. Is it
Resonance?
Rational?
Resonance? Come on, it has to be. Come on, Himangi.
You just such.
This is why I keep it right here.
Yeah, it's
Eye movement is-
desensitization and
Resonance.
Resonance.
resistance.
Resist.
Reprocessing.
Reprocessing.
Can
Guys,
be
we know it. It
resonant.
is reprocessing.
So I clearly am not trained in EMDR.
Me too.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think for EMDR...
But for trauma,
yeah.
isn't it the most... So I was actually, when I was doing my internship in
Yeah.
2015, which is so many years ago.
Wow.
So many years
So
ago.
many years ago. I did my internship a decade ago.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So I was doing that. But the psychologist I was working with, so the clinical psychologist I was working with, they were actually getting trained in EMDR themselves.
Yeah.
And they went like, you guys want free session? All the interns were like, oh yeah, we're getting a free session to work on your trauma. And I was just like, no, I don't want to remember stuff. If it's stuck, great. I don't want to process things if it's not already processed. I don't want anything new. I don't want anything coming to the limelight. Because that's the idea of EMDR.
Yeah.
Right? You want you to reprocess some trauma that's stuck and information that is not.
They use your eye movement.
Eye movement, yeah. They make you go left and right.
Yeah.
And it's quite an interesting form of therapy.
Yeah.
Or a format or a technology or whatever you call it, aspect they use within therapy. But it is a scary one.
It's very scary because then you have flashbacks, you have everything that you need to heal from. So I think if your trauma or if certain things and experience is not hampering with your daily life, it's okay to do like PCT or CBT. But I think if you really, really feel like you have
need
not
something
healed,
deeper.
yes, then please, like for trauma specifically and post-traumatic stress disorder, it's best to go for EMDR. Like many people.
When
don't
do
know
you
about
think a person should, Zoha, in your experience and understanding, when do you think a person should rely on only therapy-based situations versus a holistic understanding? So like try out, energy healing, hypnotherapy, Reiki, all of those things. Because they also are a big part of this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when do you think a person should do that?
I feel like it depends on their case and what they're looking for. But I always side with the whole thing of not just doing therapy, but also a lot of other things. Be that a different, like, holistic approach, or even something on the surface, such as like just going to social events or signing up to sports or something like that. But I do feel like CBT on its own might not ever be enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have to work on a lot of different things at once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I understand that. I
think
completely
it also, if a person finds Reiki and all of these other somatic therapies more beneficial from other kinds of therapies, they should go for it. It is their personal choice.
Because
it is
I will always go back to
Yeah.
it. Why I'm posing this question also because cultural accommodations, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is very westernized.
Yeah.
A lot of the therapies are very westernized. The science is based on a very Western approach. Yes, we are all Western educated, all three of
Yeah.
us, but that doesn't mean that, we do not understand both sides because we are culturally and racially from a different end of the world.
Yeah.
So we understand the balance. So for example, yesterday or a couple of days ago when I was with a client and they were telling me about how for ADHD, very hyperactive symptoms. Now, again, the child has lots of organic issues. But for very hyperactive symptoms, they used Ayurveda. And the hyperactivity reduced. So much so that when I checked the chart, I couldn't find it.
Wow.
I couldn't find hyperactivity. And I was like, okay. That is very cool.
interesting.
Yes, they
Yeah.
use Sirodhara, I think is what is called the one that you use for your brain. Do not quote me on this. I do not remember.
Not a reliable source.
Not a reliable source, please Google. And they had obviously they have their own medicines and herbs and everything that they give. And with that combination, for a good 6 months, I think the child was under that process and the treatment, and it improved significantly.
Yeah.
And they didn't ever have to take any medication, any westernized medication, allopathy. They didn't have to take it.
Yeah.
And that is pretty fantastic, I feel, because
Yes.
it depends on what you're looking for. And again, I don't think this will work as a universal rule for every child. Each child is different. Each
Very
person's different.
Yeah,
Exactly.
preference.
Like people we know, the kids who come to us, most of them will not maybe benefit from this process.
Yeah.
But testing different things out
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
where it comes down to. So I think one of the first questions I asked you is, how do you know?
Yeah.
And I think one of my earliest professors in my undergraduate, they said you have to do something called therapy shopping.
Like
Right?
trial and error, basically.
Trial and error,
Yeah.
basically.
I always
It's
tell
just
people
you
that.
need to shop around. You
Yes.
need to window shop
Yeah.
different things. You need to window shop PCT and CBT and holistic practices, family constellations. You need to see what fits your framework and idea
Yeah.
before you settle on one thing. Do you guys know what is MERT? That's what I got the word resonance from.
Just residents.
Magnetic. I've forgotten. Magnetic E-resonance therapy.
Oh, I thought him.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it is also some sort of therapy that they kind of like put. I don't know how to say this without sounding.
Shake some waves.
Yeah. It's like a laser gun kind of situation, and then they kind of put it on your head, and then that helps with ASD symptoms, autism symptoms.
So the participant has to be willing to do that.
Oh yeah. It is a little invasive, and it does seem like it's on its initial trial play basis. I wouldn't go do it. Obviously, the regular OTs, ABAs, those are better for autism, or at the moment more widely studied.
Yeah.
But there is now MERT and things like that. So
Because we still don't know the causes of autism.
Yeah.
So once we figure that out, then maybe we can figure out how
Other-
to. Yeah. So if this works, this may work for like a certain kind of
a certain population.
Yeah, certain population. Not all of it, but I hope.
I
it
can
does.
never keep track of everything.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
I can never keep
I
track.
keep getting those research papers on how meditation can help children in the spectrum.
How do you make a...
Exactly. But they've done research. So I think it's certain population in the spectrum that can benefit from it, but not the whole. So it's very interesting that's why we don't know the cause of many different kinds of, spectrum.
Yeah.
spectrum difficulties and where the spectrum difficulties arise and stuff. But a lot of these disorders are not that well researched. I mean, they're still undergoing research because it's a very
growing,
new...
though.
Yeah.
There's a lot of research as you go. Like every time I open like research, there's so many new things.
There's so many new
things. And you would know because you looked through so many for your interns.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Going back to what I was saying in terms of like growing with the interns, because when I study psychology, it's so different to what they're studying because so many more research papers have come out, so many different methods have come out, and it will continue to grow. Even in the UAE, I was telling the interns, like, when I first got interested in psychology, it was such a niche here, and especially amongst like the population, it wasn't common to even take up therapy or speak about mental health. But as I went through my years of studying psychology, I saw the UAE as well, like get better in that. The mental health section has been growing a lot. I feel like this year particularly is much, much better as well. So I was telling the interns that, it's good that things are growing, like look into so much more within this country as well as, the Western side or other places.
Because if that happens, if the research grows, the opportunities grow, and people's understanding and awareness of what they need to do will also grow with it.
Yes.
And that's the advantage. Because I have 5 years on you, and imagine how much earlier I started.
Yeah.
And at the time when I started, I remember there were kids going around going like, who takes psychology? Everybody should take business.
Wait, what year did you start?
I started 2012. My undergrad was in 2012.
Wow.
Okay. I started 2011. It's in school.
You started? Oh, yeah, fair.
Oh, like from school?
From school.
From school.
Yeah. I started in like year 9. I think that was when I was set. When I was 15
you
years
decided.
Old, I was like, this is what I want to go into.
Wow, that's so young.
How? What year was that?
I think year 9.
Yeah, but what year was it? So how old were you? 15. So 2015.
2015. Don't have to calculate my age.
So 2015 is when you decided.
Yeah.
I'd graduated by then.
Oh wow, well done.
Yeah.
Such a gap.
2012, 2015, I did my undergrad is when you decide. So when I graduated is when it came in your brain.
Yeah.
Like I put it out there into the world.
Put it out there.
Everybody.
Reach so.
Actually, I remember my first ever case study was on my partner in school. So we had to make partners in school. And I was I won't tell you my age anyways. Moving on.
They're just going out saying our ages.
Exposed ourselves here. Excuse me.
And I remember my friend, her mom had certain kind of psychosis. And my teacher was like, you have to figure out what kind of issues genetically she's got. And I got and I was so young. And when I went to her with my analysis and everything, she was very impressed. So she was like, you have to do psychology. And I loved the process. So I think it was just a calling for
Destined.
me. Yeah, destined.
So why didn't you go into research?
No. I can't study.
That was such
I don't
an easy
want
answer.
Straight up.
So it's
Research is a lot.
Research is great. It's improving at every moment. And then why don't you go into research? No.
I can study research, but I cannot do it because it involves a lot of statistics, which I know, but I don't
Agreed.
want to get into statistics.
Are scary. I don't like
a lot.
them.
Every psychologist needs to know statistics, but I don't think I can get into research. I like more practical work.
There's always math in psychology. I don't know if people know this, but
Yeah. There's
Always very
always.
math.
Must
Yeah,
warn
there
everyone
is always.
because
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people go into it thinking it's very humanities related
No,
or
yeah.
about
No,
people,
no, no.
but there's still numbers. There's numbers
Exactly.
everywhere. to
there's
be
numbers
fair.
everywhere. And
Can't avoid it.
every test I take, every evaluation I do has a number associated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a number everywhere. So much algorithm and
Yeah. Yeah.
manuals with numbers and baselines. And
Oh
You
my
can't
that's
avoid
all
it.
numbers.
Yeah.
But I'm grateful for all those people who have already done the
Yeah.
research. We don't have to get into that.